They said it like a joke, loud enough for everyone to hear the kind of joke that isn't really a joke at all. "Tell you what," he said, leaning against his glass desk with that smug half-smile, "if you can fix it, the car's yours." People laughed. Not because it was funny, but because they already knew how the story was supposed to end. And, standing there with a cleaning rag in my hand, grease on my knuckles, wearing a uniform nobody bothered to learn the name of, I realized something real simple. This wasn't about a car. This was about reminding me where they thought I belonged. The car was a matte silver supercar worth more than my parents' house ever was. Hood, open engine silent, right in the middle of a luxury showroom that smelled like leather money and arrogance. The man who owned it, let's call him Victor Hale, ran the place. Sharp suit, polished shoes, voice trained to sound confident even when he was wrong. He loved an audience, loved reminding people he was the smartest man in the room, and I was his favorite contrast. "Relax," he added, waving a hand at me like I was a stray dog. "We all know that's not happening. Yeah, that happened." For months, Victor had made sure everyone knew exactly what I was supposed to be. When VIP clients came in, I was suddenly told to re-clean cars that were already spotless just so he could say things like, "Details matter here," and look straight at me. He made me use the side entrance while contractors walked through the front. Gave me a name patch that said Detail Crew. While nobody else wore anything, said it helped customers know who not to ask technical questions. People laughed awkwardly. Some looked away. Nobody stopped him. What they didn't know was that while I cleaned, I listened. I paid attention. Cars talk not with words, but with sound heat vibration. Most people drown that out with computers and checklists. I learned early that machines tell the truth when people don't. My grandmother taught me that back when we didn't have money for mechanics, and I had to figure things out because there was no other choice. So, when Victor's precious car started dying at red lights, I noticed. 3 weeks of random stalling, no error codes, no warning. Perfect one moment, dead the next. He brought in expert after expert. Factory-certified techs. Independent specialists with framed diplomas on the wall. They replaced parts reset systems, charged invoices that made my monthly pay look like spare change. And the car kept failing. Each time, Victor got louder. Shorter temper. Smiles disappeared. His reputation started slipping, and he hated that more than anything. On the day it all blew up, the showroom was packed. Big event. Wealthy buyers everywhere, phones out, champagne flowing. Victor planned to prove he was still the man in charge. Then the car stalled. Twice. Once, right as he was talking. Once when he tried to rev it for the crowd. You could feel it. That shift in the room. Whispers, people stepping back. Somebody near the door muttered, "This is embarrassing." Victor snapped. "This is ridiculous," he said, voice, sharp eyes darting. And then he saw me, standing there like always quiet, watching. Something ugly clicked behind his smile. "Let's make this interesting," he announced. "I'll throw in 50 grand with the car. Anyone here fixes it, it's theirs." Then he turned fully toward me, "Including you. What's your name again?" I told him. "Calm, even." He smirked. "Right, this should be educational." The room went silent. Phones rose higher. He thought he was generous. Thought he was humiliating me one last time. He didn't realize I'd already solved it weeks ago. I'd written it down. Sent it in. Ignored. Because in his world, people like me don't solve problems like that. Before I could move, a woman stepped forward from the back. Mid-40s. Confident. No need to raise her voice. "Victor, she said you should stop." You could hear the tension snap. She introduced herself, credentials rolling out like a warning. She'd been watching. Not him. Me. She said while Victor was performing, I was diagnosing. Said the methods I was using weren't hobby tricks, they were advanced. The kind you don't fake. Victor laughed it off. Said enthusiasm wasn't expertise. Said a real problem needs real professionals. She turned to me and asked what I'd noticed. I told her. Temperature imbalance, harmonic vibration. A small, mounting bracket near the intake expanding under heat, throwing everything else off just enough to confuse the system. The crowd stared. They didn't understand the words, but they understood the tone. This wasn't guessing. Victor tried to cut in. Anyone can say technical nonsense, so I asked for permission to show them. He waved his hand like he was bored. Go ahead. I didn't rush. I didn't plug in a computer. I listened. I checked heat patterns with a tool I bought myself. I tapped components, felt vibrations through my fingertips. The woman watched closely, nodding. I explained as I worked not for him, but for the people who actually wanted to understand. This only happens at certain temperatures, I said. That's why nobody caught it. They tested parts alone. The problem only shows up when everything works together. I replaced one small part, installed it at the right temperature, tightened it the right way. Took my time. When I started the engine, the sound was different. Clean. Balanced. We drove it. Hard. Traffic, heat, hills, everything that had broken it before. It didn't miss a beat. Back at the showroom, data confirmed it. Better than before. Smoother. Cleaner. The woman smiled like she'd just watched a magic trick she understood. Victor didn't smile at all. He handed me the keys, wrote the check, mumbled an apology that sounded like it hurt to say, and then the offers came. Consulting, jobs, money I'd never imagined, all while he stood there invisible in his own building. The video spread fast. People saw what he said, how he acted. Lawsuits followed. Clients left. His empire shrank in real time. A few months later, his personal car broke down. Guess who fixed it? Funny how life works. I don't tell this story because I like revenge. I tell it because someone watching right now has been underestimated, laughed at, reduced to a role someone else decided for them. And maybe you stayed quiet. Maybe you learned. Maybe you waited. So here's my question. Was Victor wrong for challenging me, or was the real crime assuming I'd fail? Drop your thoughts below. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me, when was the last time someone got you completely wrong and what did you do next?